Hey everybody, this is Jennifer from Park Place Child Life Center, and here is the latest kit that we gave out in our community to kids who are home sheltering in place due to coronavirus. This one is my favorite because it is drawing, and drawing is my favorite thing to do. So what we did is we came up with this idea of creating a drawing using different types of patterns. So I'm going to show you how to do it. For the people who got the kit, you can, maybe you're looking, you got the kit yourself, and you wanted to see the online video. Here are the different sheets that we made. This one is rainbow. We got bunny, flower, another butterfly, and a goofy little frog. Now notice they're all very simple drawings. So that's all you have to do, is be able to make a simple drawing. And for those of you who did not get one of our art kits, all you need is some white paper and some pens. So let me see if I can move this up a little bit so you can see the whole page. Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and get started showing you how to begin. Now, just so we can keep it aligned with the kit that we made, what we're going to do is we're going to create a box here at the top. Now, when I'm out making outlines, I take my arm and I use it as a fulcrum. Everyone asks me, how do you make such straight lines? Well, if I keep this pen tip the same distance all the way down, it will be a parallel line to the edge. Artists use the edge of the paper, the vertical and the horizontal, to help them draw. So instead of using a ruler, practice just drawing, and don't worry if it's not perfect. So I'm going to pull this straight down. I'm going to go to about 3 or 4 inches from the bottom. So you see I got off that time because I wasn't paying attention. And there you are. We will bring this back up here, and you see how easy it is to do. And now we have, this will be where our drawing goes. Now down here we're going to make some boxes, so I'm going to just kind of make them small square boxes. We're going to try to do 5. And what we're going to do inside these boxes, we're going to create some patterns. Patterns are systematic repetition. Now the human eye loves patterns. In fact, our brain looks for patterns where there are no patterns. So when we see patterns, it's like, ah, yay, pattern. So if you use pattern in your artwork, it will look good. Also, we see a lot of patterns in nature, and we like it. Like, everybody likes butterflies, everybody likes tigers and stripes. And if you look at your clothes, I bet you'll find a lot of patterns in that. So, that's pretty much how we begin. Now, let's take a look at the patterns that I made before. I have different ones I use, and there's a process called Zentangles that a lot of people use. And basically, it's just creating patterns in small spaces. And if you want to get some books on that, you can find a lot online about it. But it's easy to make a pattern. So let's go ahead and we will start with some lines. Now, if you use a Sharpie, you're going to have a thick line like this. If you use a pen, you'll have a thin line like this. So whatever you want to do, if you don't have a Sharpie, that's fine. Use a pen. And if you like detail, then you want to use a pen instead of a big Sharpie, or you can use a fine tip Sharpie. So it's whatever you want to do. If you are more smaller kid, then the big lines might be easier. So the first one I'm going to do is make some stripes, and I'm going to do lines equidistant apart. This is how you get a medium gray. Boom, boom, boom. And this is good because you're practicing your confident mark making, and you're also getting your starts and stops. And you don't want to draw it with pencil first, so don't do that. Just draw it how I'm doing right here. Now the next one I'm going to do some dots. Dots are always good. So circle like polka dots. And you can either offset these or you can do them right underneath each other. But you just want them to kind of be all the same size. Also, you do want to let your pattern go outside of the box. Like this. Because once you get into your drawing, you're going to fill up all the spaces. All right, let's see. What do we want to do next? Let's try a checkerboard. Now, checkerboards are fun. All you have to do is try to divide this into squares. And you do not have to use a ruler. So just look and see, what does the square look like. And if the shapes you leave behind are square, then great. If they're not perfect, that's fine too. The main thing is once you get them, you color in every other one. And it's going to look like a checkerboard. Now, what you'll find is that some patterns are going to be dark and some patterns are going to be lighter. So you see right here, this one is going to be darker because it's got a lot of black in it. When you create your artwork, you'll see that I have dark, 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 and then light, 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 and I did leave some white behind too. So you're going to spread these different patterns all over. And so you do want to have some that are darker than others, some that are lighter than others, because it is going to give, in art we call it value, lights and darks. So you always want to have a full range of value. And your eyes are going to optically blend these anyway, so you might as well be aware of what you're doing. All right, so let's try some zigzags here. Now, you can create any kind of pattern you want. So say maybe I want to do a dot in my zigs, my zags. And as long as you do the same thing every time, it's a pattern. You can make it up however you want. So I'm not going to put dots there unless I put them in all of them. You see? So if I put a dot here, that means I got to come down and put it here, which is fine. You can if you want to. It's about being consistent, because we do want to have that, look at the pattern moment. Okay? There's that one. And finally, we will do the flowers. Now you'll notice these aren't as exact, but as long as I keep them, creating them in a similar way with a similar placement, it's going to read as good enough to be an exact pattern. All right, there we go. So we have 5 patterns, and if you want to, you can make all these on a different sheet. And hey, why not? Everyone loves to doodle. When you're doodling, come up with different patterns that you want to make. So let's go ahead, and I have that other flower right there because I did an earlier video that went out of focus. But I will go ahead and do that again because it makes a good shape. So we don't want it to be too complicated, but we want it to be kind of large shapes, but not too large. So we'll go ahead and draw our flower. And the main thing is here to kind of fill the page. So I'm going to come down here with the stem. I'm not going to make it too skinny. I'm going to put the leaf to take up that space. And I'll do another leaf right here to take up this space. And I can end this right there. So now we have our drawing, and if you read the directions of this, you'll see, and I will attach this PDF to the show notes, so you can just look down there and you can get this, and I'll attach these on there too. So you can actually print these out and use these if you want to. What's going to say do is draw 2 lines going this vertical and 2 lines going horizontal. So what you want to do is break up the space, because like I said, it's easy to do a pattern in one of these little shapes. Way harder, like if you were trying to do all this, That'd be hard, right? That'd take you forever. You wouldn't like it. So what we want to do is break these up however we think is easiest. So I will just go, I see that I'm going to try to break these spaces up here by coming down. Now we're not, we're going to go right through the drawing. There's one. And there's two. Now I'm going to come this way. So I'm going to break up this space by coming right through here. And then this one right here is a really big space, so I'll come right through here. Now we just go ahead and start filling in our patterns. So I'm going to start with my first pattern, which is the lines. And I can just carefully put my lines in here. I've already practiced. Now notice I'm being mindful. Mindful means where you're in the moment. I'm paying attention. And this is very good practice. It's very relaxing. And you don't really have to think too much because you've already got the patterns decided, and you can stay right in the moment as you're doing this. So there's that one. And maybe I'm going to go with the dots next. Now maybe I want these to go along the edge of this. So you can fill it in a little bit differently than you did on the box. You are going to kind of allow the artwork to lead you in the direction it needs to go in as you proceed to fill in all these patterns. Just trying to stay as consistent as possible. And I'm going to go ahead and knock some circles right here, just because it looks like they need them to complete the pattern. Does that make sense? All right, there you go. And let's try my zigzags. Now you'll see that if you put your lines further apart, it will be less dark. We talked about having light and dark areas. And maybe I want to leave this one white. Maybe I'll draw this one black. So you do want to leave some white, some black. And now maybe I'll just do some dots here. You can do variations of patterns that you've already created. So I already have one kind of dot. I can create another kind of dot. Starting to look pretty good, right? Okay, so let's see. What have I not done? I did this one, zigzags. Ooh, I didn't do checkerboard. Well, since that's dark, I'm not going to put the checkerboard right there. I'm going to bring it over here. And depending on, sometimes I like to go along, if I have a straight line in it, I like to go along the straight line because it just makes it a little bit easier. So I'm just looking to see that I'm leaving squares in between the best I can. And I will fill these in. Fill that one in. The main thing with checkerboards, now I have a lot of my little students, and sometimes even my big ones, will mess up. But basically the points go together. So you could go along the row like this if that's helpful to you. Or you can just go along doing every other one. It's every other one. Or a row of diamonds, however you want to look at it. Okay, let's see, which one did I not do? Flowers. So I said this one's going to be white, so maybe I'm going to put the flower ones in here. Okay, so basically all you have to do now is continue on in the same way as I've started, and you've got to make sure that you repeat what's already there. So like I showed you earlier, you spread these around, and you can do some variations, but you see these are all darker and they're all spread around, and the light ones are spread around and the white ones are spread around, and in that way you'll end up with a really nice artwork. I hope you enjoyed this lesson from Park Place Child Life Center. And again, we've got lots of videos for you guys to look at. If you have any questions, I'll put the email address in the show notes. And if you have any suggestions of any art lessons you'd like to see, we'd love to do them for you. So thank you for joining us, and have a great evening. Bye.